Wealth. It's a word that can go many directions. It can mean living your best life or falling into the traps of greed, which are the real infections. Greed feeds off of people's fear. It blinds people into thinking that they need more and are never enough, not allowing them to see clear. So many people are taught to have a poverty mindset, which eventually influences their actions, and sooner or later they accumulate all this debt. People are at the extremes of rich and poor, but what is the key for a healthy balance of financial independence to open that door? People are constantly caring more about the material items and possessions, and we forget to take care of ourselves due to all these obsessions. It is time to bring our awareness back to the lies society tells us what we all need, so we can pay ourselves back and stop continuing to bleed. It's time to take a step back and acknowledge the true wealth starts within. So let the journey of healing ourselves start to begin. Something that can be vital for our health is spirituality. It helps us grow our consciousness and helps us see the true reality. The reality that we are much more than a label society puts on us, and that we are so much more powerful than what we think, so let's discuss. Our highly westernized country has put more emphasis on the physical world to heal things. We have silenced our inner voices of wisdom that allow us to spread our wings, to fly free with our own control of our well-being, to fly free without being chained down by the surface level expectations and be in the act of clearly seeing. As Matthew Fox stated, the true potential that we hold within our own creativity is that pure divinity. The flow of change is good and gives us the power of transitioning from the old to create something new, despite how many people resist. And you can create anything your heart desires, as long as your willpower and belief in yourself continue to persist. Not many people see all the aspects that create great physical health and well-being. Like the habits we create with food and how we treat ourselves is what's really freeing. Each small part of our life is a choice we can make that will either help or hinder our vitality. Managing stress and adapting to positive mindsets will lead to one's path further away from mortality. I used to have a bad relationship with food because I never felt like I was enough. Abstaining from as many meals as I could because dealing with the words "you're fat" and "you're ugly" was just too tough. The only way I saw to take back my control was by harming myself. But this dark tunnel vision only blinded me from seeing how I can truly find my own health. After a few years of experiencing stunted growth, declined performances, and a toxic mentality, I finally came to understand wealth. It is through valuing yourself and realizing your worth, because everyone is a magnificent being and has a gift that needs to be seen on this earth. There is no such thing as being inferior or superior. Everyone is on a different path that is immeasurable, and comparing will just lead to the ego being stuck living in the exterior. So don't let anyone or anything determine how much you love yourself, and know you are worthy of love. And your best self is cheering you on the whole entire way, just right above. It's good to make sure your highest values are aligned with where you want to go, because in the end, will it actually fulfill you, or was it all just a show? It is so easy to fall into the trap of negative thinking. We are taught to hide our flaws and feel ashamed of our mistakes that cause us to keep sinking. But we don't have to fall victim under this corrupt system. Brian Seward explained the process of cognitive restructuring, which is the process of replacing negative thoughts with positive thoughts that can change the perspective of stressors and eventually creates less suffering. And it leaves people wondering of the power we truly hold, because being aligned with our highest values is purely gold. And to get there, we gotta learn how to end the negative thinking patterns that tear us down. Remember that we are worthy of becoming our best self, so take back your crown. Sometimes I worry about how we will all eventually socialize. We are scared of vulnerability and hide behind a public disguise. It took me a while to realize how much we all need each other, and how much we are all interconnected with one another. Sometimes it feels better to just isolate yourself and forget that everything else exists. Because all the fakeness and betrayal people have shown us is overwhelming, it could be written down in multiple lists. But don't keep the guard up in front of your heart forever, because there's still people who are looking for someone like you, so pull open the lever. Every act of love and kindness you put out never goes to waste. It will always create a positive impact, whether it's by making someone smile or making someone feel better from the hard day they have just faced. Remember, you don't have to take it personally the way people treat you. because the way they interact with others is a reflection of how they see themselves, and they have no idea what you've experienced, which is a completely different view. People have forgotten that the place that we live on is just as important as taking care of ourselves. The earth is not just something that can be thought of last minute like the old books on the shelves. Every action we take will either positively or negatively impact the environment, like how we commute, use energy, eat, and drink. With the world continuing to move at a faster pace, people forget to pay attention to the interconnected link. Therefore, it's good to stay aware of the impacts we make on the environment every moment, because if we don't, it will continue to deteriorate and the next generations will never make it to the creating new life for enrollment. Everyone has a voice and puts in their vote every day. As Tom Shadyac mentioned, there really is no middle way. Many people end up silencing their voice because they don't think they are powerful enough to create positive change. But the small changes in decisions and actions is what builds someone's character, so why are people not seeing the impacts of the small things? That's quite strange. Every word you speak can influence an individual's perception of love, wealth, relationships, or even life. So the question is, are you encouraging positive change or allowing things to continue in strife? You got to cut to the core like a knife, to understand the root creation of all things, because going on in life staying asleep is what truly stings. And through the new findings and understandings, you can be a great beacon of light. It will help you advocate and see how there's really no wrong or right. So find your inner flame and never let anyone take it out, because deep down, you know the seed you want to plant, so take care of yourself and let it sprout.